welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how I use my camera gears. This is my iPhone 16 Pro. This has become a go-to camera setup recently. I'll show you why. This is my Nikon's ZF. This I use it mostly for the professional things. This has a capacity for 4K up to 60 frames per second. But the caveat is that shoots in a DX crop factor mode. This is although that's in a full frame camera. This is my iPhone 16 Pro that has shoots for 4K 120 frames per second. And I'll show you what's the difference. For me, convenience wise, iPhone is come and it's proven that it's a go-to thing. But the camera, Nikon's CF, it needs a little bit of a setup. That's what I'm gonna try and do this as an experiment. So I'm gonna show you how and how much time it takes for me to set up Nikon ZF if I'm going out, and how much time would it take for me to set up my phone and then just directly start shooting. That would be the experiment today. Let's start with the first experiment with my camera first. That's a timer on now. So I actually travel quite packed. I'm well packed and ready to go. My camera is always fixed with its cage and I have a top handle. I never go without my top handle. That's for sure. That becomes my integral or go-to system. Whenever I'm shooting with my camera, I need my external monitor. I don't have an external monitor at the moment, so the Nikon's SnapBridge app is quite fluid in that sense. I always use that to check my zoom, color, and focus, and then everything. So far so good. It just took about like 30 seconds, and you do have to note that everything I have them quite in a reachable distance. Like I just spread everything under my table, and it was easy for me to reach there. And then it just took about like 40 seconds to for me to take it out of my bag, fix the handle, fix my phone on the mount and top of the handle. And this is my old microphone. It's sort of a semi-professional. No longer use that anymore because I bought a new system now. This one should be out of the box. It should have some power, but for some reason it didn't start. But that happens quite a lot. So it's a good experiment now. So starting, connecting, pairing, everything, and I do forgot where I kept my TRS connectors. So just I'll just leave it as it is. So for this, Nikon to get ready, for me to shoot, it takes about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Let's say it's like 1 minute and 30 seconds to be fair. Yeah. And next up, let's see how it works for how I get ready on my iPhone. Right, here's experiment number 2 on my iPhone. I will show you how long it will normally take for me to get my phone, set it up, all done, and then get ready for a shoot. Like my camera, I always travel with my accessories. I got my Alexa SSD with the docking station, and then Boya mic too. So this is my go-to gear on my iPhone. See, difference between iPhone versus the camera, it's sort of not much gap between these two products that I have seen. iPhone shoots with 4K up to 120 frames per second, but I don't go that much far. I usually shoot with 4K 30 frames per second, and that having the Alexa SSD connected to my camera and using it on Final Cut camera allows me to export that, I mean, capture everything in ProRes and log format. And so that's more like a proper A roll for me. But then I use my phone shots as a B roll because of the color difference. This is about like 422. I guess Nikon is 420. That's the difference. So far, taking it out of my pocket, setting up the camera, it took about like less than a minute. So to be honest, that's on me. I lost some time here. Like changing the focus of the other camera that I was focusing on. It took about like less than a minute normally. So here it is, ProRes for 4K at 30 frames and directly copied to my SSD, and the setup is done. Switch on the mic, take it out, and that's it. Ready to shoot. So here's my verdict. Don't stick to one camera at a time. Like I love the output coming out of my Nikon and iPhone. The gap between these two are not much. It can be corrected in post production. But that's been said, it's fantastic to have both cameras, like shooting with two different angles. That's the story.